Okay, so simultaneous equation for a line and a curve, it's a line and a curve because this one has no squares, so it's linear or it's a line, and this one has squares, so it's some kind of a curve, which might be a quadratic curve or it might be a full circle or something like that. But either way, it's a curve of some kind. So your first step is to take the linear one and rearrange it. So the linear one is x plus y equals 4. So it doesn't matter whether you rearrange for x or y, but if one of them has a number in front, so if that was like x plus 2y, then I'd do my best to steer clear of the one that has the number in front. Just go with the one that has no number. So because neither of these have a number, it actually doesn't matter. So I think I'm going to bring the y over here, make it a minus y, and then that takes that away. So what I have is x equals 4 minus y. Then step 2, you take what you're after rearranging and you sub into the quadratic equation. So the quadratic equation is x squared plus y squared equals 16. This thing here says x equals 4 minus y, which means I can take 4 minus y and put it in place of x. So that's 4 minus y squared plus y squared equals 16. Now, squaring out this 4 minus y, you just write the bracket out twice. So 4 minus y, and then don't forget to keep adding on plus y squared and equals 16. Multiplying two brackets, you split the first bracket and multiply it by the second. So you split up the 4 and the minus y, and you put the second bracket after each of them. And again, don't forget to add on the plus y squared and the equals 16, which at the moment we haven't done anything with. Multiplying this, we get 16 minus 4y, and minus by minus is a plus y squared. And then again, your plus y squared equals 16. Now we can simplify. So the 4y and the 4y are like terms, and the y squared and the y squared are like terms. So we have 16 minus 8y plus 2y squared equals 16. Because it's a quadratic, we need to have all of the bits, the y squared, the y, and the numbers all on one side. So we take the 16, we bring it over, and it's going to become a minus 16, and then we lose it here. So we have 0 minus 8y plus 2y squared equals 0. So you have options here. You can do, it's a quadratic equation, so you can always solve it with minus b, or you can use your 3 methods for whether it's a trinomial, a highest common factor, or a difference of 2 squares. So we'll go through both. So if we go with minus b, then this is your a, because that's in front of y squared. Here is your b in front of y, and then this one here is your c at the end. So go into the table book, get the minus b formula, which is minus b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac over 2a. Make sure we can see it. So that becomes minus 8 plus or minus the square root of minus 8 squared minus 4. A is 2 and c is 0. And that's all over 2 times a, which is 2 times 2. So the double minus over here becomes a plus, so it's just 8. Minus 8 squared is 64, and minus 4 by 2 is minus 8, but by 0 is just 0, so that's gone, and that's all over 4. We can split that up. plus and a minus. So we have 8 plus square root 64 over 4, and we have 8 minus the square root of 64 over 4. So this is 16 over 4, which is 4, and this is 0 over 4, which is 0. The equation that I solved, if I go back up, had y's in it. So that means those two answers are values for y. Now, as an alternative, if I didn't want to do the minus b, the equation here is 0 minus 8y plus 2y squared. So 0 minus 8y plus 2y squared equals 0. If I put it in the right order, so put the y squared first, the 8y second, and then don't worry about that. This is a quadratic highest common factor. So I could just take out the 2y, which would leave me with y minus 4. Split the page, let the 2y equal 0, and let the y minus 4 equal 0. Here I would divide by 2, and I'd get y equals 0. And here I would bring the 4 across. It would become a plus 4, and I'd get y equals 4. So whether you do it with minus b or using your factorization rules, you get y equals 0, y equals 4 as your two answers. Okay, now I need to get my x's. So go right back up to the start. Sorry. And it says x equals 4 minus y. So as my final step, I'm going to sub these values into the rearranged linear. So we're going to sub in y equals 0, and we're going to sub in y equals 4. So we get x equals 4 minus, and replace the y with 0, so 4 minus 0, so x equals 4. And you should always write it as a point. So a point has two coordinates with a comma in between, and you always put the x first. So in this case, x is 4, so that goes first. And in this case, y is 0, so that goes second after the comma. Then this side, so x equals 4 minus, and put in 4 for y, so it's 4 minus 4. So x equals 0. So you get x first is 0, comma, the y goes second, so 4. So again, we get 2 points because we're talking here about a circle intersecting with a line, and they will intersect at 2 different points, which will correspond to your 2 points here.